And our e-safety commissioner has taken aim at X, formerly known as Twitter, saying Australians are at a higher risk of online hate since Elon Musk took over. Joining me now is cyber safety expert and former police officer Susan McLean. Susan, thanks so much for joining us. We just heard there from Terry Goldsworthy his opinions on social media and seeing the increase in crime across not only Queensland but across the country. How concerned are you about online safety?
It's a huge issue. And for any school, anywhere in the world for that matter, it is often the number one non-academic issue that a school has to deal with on any given day.
Meta has announced that they are providing some new protections that will give young people better safety and age-appropriate content. Are you hopeful that they're doing this?
Oh, yes. Look, I think what we need to do is we need to hold social media platforms to account. If they're not doing well enough, we need to call them out. But we also, on the other hand, need to acknowledge and support them when they make good choices. And this is an example of moving forward. It's about making sure that young people are better protected when it comes to the content that they're going to be exposed to when they're using social media.
Do governments need to play more of a role and have tighter restrictions?
Look, I think the e-safety commissioner is doing a great job. The concern for me is, yes, she serves notices on these companies, but many of them just thumb their nose at what she asks. And really, if she starts to pull out the fines, which she legally is allowed to do, I'm not really sure how that is going to be enforced. I can't see Elon Musk playing the game. We see TikTok ignoring the requests often from the e-safety commissioners. So having these processes in place is great, and we certainly lead the world when it comes to government regulation, but we can do better. And it's getting the platforms to want to cooperate. That's the key.
The AFP led a new initiative to better protect young people from the growing threat of sextortion that started off last year. That initiative, how big is the issue of sextortion?
Well, every single person or young person that uses technology is at risk of becoming the victim of anything online, including sextortion. And we've seen in the last 2 years in particular, a huge increase in these criminals targeting kids. So sextortion itself is not new. It's been around for many years. And in the early days, they only targeted adults, but they have now worked out that, $10 from 100 children is a good day's work. So they're targeting children. Children are not even having to send nude images. And this is where a lot of alleged experts don't understand or parents don't get it. Yes, some children are sending nude images, and yes, they are being extorted afterwards. But there are many young people now that are simply asked, what do you look like? Send a photo. So they send a very nice photo, a very innocent photo, fully clothed. And the offenders using AI and deepfake technology are turning that into a nude, sending it back and blackmailing them that way.
What behaviours do we need to be mindful of if our child is being influenced by sextortion?
So what we need to make sure as parents is we are active and involved participants in our children's online world. So that means we need to be able to talk to them about the good, the bad, and in between. We need to be there with them. It doesn't matter what you do online, the best protective factor for young people is parental involvement and parental supervision. We know because young people are inherently trusting online, if someone is nice to them or appears to have friends in common, they willingly engage with these people. And I think for me, that's where we need to target it. You don't go and have personal and private conversations with random people you meet in the park or at the shopping centre, and you shouldn't be doing it online because it is far more risky because you do not know who that person is and what they want of you. We need to empower parents to have these conversations. I talk to children in primary school about the dangers of sending nude images, what it looks like, how it might happen, and certainly what to do if they're caught up in it.
Because we do hear that they can experience some form of shame if they have experienced it. And speaking to the CEO of Kids Helpline late last year, they did make a very strong mention of that, to not feel shame if you have been caught, because these criminals are very calculated in what they do.
They are very good at what they do. They're like online pedophiles. They're very good at what they do. Children will be sent messages such as, your life is over. I will ruin your life. You will never recover from this. Your parents will hate you. Your school will hate you. You might as well end it now. Now, these are horrible things to read in general, but when they're targeted at you and you know that something's happened, it is tipping young people over the edge, and we know this worldwide. So for parents, make sure that they do not react with anger. Good kids get sucked in. Good kids make mistakes. All kids can become a victim. Support your child's mental health. The first 5 steps you should take is mental health support. And that may mean a trip to the GP. It may mean taking your child to ED in the middle of the night if you are worried about them. Make sure that you cease all communication, do not pay a cent, and keep screenshots of everything. After you've done that, you report the abuse to the platform, block the user, and then you can report to the ACCCE website, and it's /report option number 4. I had a parent last year say to me when I was stepping her through this on the phone, I can't block the account. And I said, what do you mean you can't block the account? I thought she didn't know how. And she said, no. We've been told that if we block the offender, it will get worse. So the offender had already convinced the parent not to take these steps. So it is insidious, it is real, and there's not a school that I visit that has not had a student caught up in this, unfortunately.
And it can happen to anyone, as you have mentioned. And again, it's just sometimes kids don't listen to us and we have to be a little bit repetitive and they might get a bit annoyed at us. But again, it's reiterating those messages to them over and over.
It is. And, the key one is not to engage with random people on the internet. If we can get that through to more young people will be safe. But if they do find themselves in a situation that was not of their doing and they realise too late that it's a mess, then they need to disengage and they need to find a trusted adult and let them know. Because we know the biggest barrier for young people getting help is their reluctance to ask for it. There is shame, there is humiliation. It's a very hard conversation to say to your parents, hey, I've sent a nude photo of myself and now I'm being blackmailed. If you can work on one thing as a parent, get digital devices out of bedrooms and bathrooms, because we know that that is where these photos are being taken.
Susan McLean, really appreciate your time and expertise today. Thank you.
Thank you.